Well, this video will show you how to configure the search aspects of MacroView DMF and MacroView Message when implemented with Office 365 SharePoint Online. MacroView DMF 365 and Message 365 ship with two search panels, keyword search and email search. On these newly installed panels, the following controls will work out of the box. But if you want the remaining metadata-based controls to work, you'll need to define some managed properties in your Office 365 search environment. These managed properties are defined in 3 steps. First one is to configure at least some of your SharePoint Online libraries to be MacroView compatible. That is, to have the content type and metadata columns that MacroView uses to record email attributes as you drag and drop to save emails to SharePoint. This video in the MacroView Help Center provides details of how to do that configuration. The next step is to save at least one email with attachments and importance to one of those MacroView compatible libraries. Third step is to define managed properties using the crawl properties that SharePoint Online will create from those newly saved emails. These properties need to be defined at the Office 365 tenant level, and you'll need to wait at least for a few minutes for that crawl to take place after you've saved your emails. Once you've defined your managed properties, you'll need to wait again for a crawl to happen so that the managed properties are populated and able to be used when you're searching. Well, here we are in Microsoft Outlook. The MacroView DMF 365 has been installed, so we're seeing this new pane on the right-hand side of the main Outlook window. Here is the document library, the MacroView compatible document library that we saw in our previous video about configuring email metadata. If we take this email here, which has importance set and also an attachment embedded, let's drag and drop that email to our MacroView sample library. It's now saved to SharePoint. If we click the library, we see our newly saved email, and if we go to the email view, we see that its attributes have been recorded automatically as metadata. If we right-click the email and choose Properties, we see attachment count, conversation topic, from, importance, and so on. Well, the next step is to create some managed properties in our Office 365 search environment. This Microsoft Docs page provides useful information, particularly this section of the page. First step is to go to this web address when logged in as a tenant administrator. We're in the classic Microsoft Admin Center page. You go to Admin Centers, SharePoint, More Features, and then the search open. We click on Manage Search Schema, and we can now see a list of the managed properties that already have been defined. We're going to create a new managed property, MV2. It's a text type column. We'll make it searchable, queryable, and retrievable. We'll also allow multiple values. It's a good idea to have token normalization checked. And at the bottom of the page, we can click Add a Mapping in order to choose a crawl property that we want to map to. For this managed property called MV2, the corresponding property is actually OWS MV2. We can click the Find button, choose that property, and then click OK. When we're finished, we can review that our managed property has been created by using this filter. Here is our managed property, and here are the attributes that we supplied. Well, this table, which is also available in the MacroView Help Center, shows us the corresponding managed properties for each of the controls in our MacroView search panels. It also shows the corresponding crawl properties that we need to map to in order to define those managed properties. We've already defined a managed property called MV2 using the crawl property OWS MV2. Note that receive time and my document are special cases. Receive time is to be defined as an alias for one of the inbuilt refinable date single managed properties, for example, refinable date single 00, and we're going to map that refinable property to the crawl property OWS MV receive time. Well, back in the Managed Properties page of the SharePoint Admin Center, logged in as a tenant administrator, let's look for the built-in managed property called refinable date single 00. Here is that property. As we go further into its definition, we see the alias attribute. The alias needs to be MV received time. And further down the page, we can add a mapping to the crawl property OWS MV received time. And we need to define the new property MV My Document to be based on 3 crawl properties: Office 4, Office 8, and Mail 6. Once a crawl has populated our new managed properties, we can use them in a MacroView search panel. For example, to find all emails where the automatically recorded to property contains null, and to narrow that search to show only those emails to null from Elaine. In a keyword search panel, we can find the documents that I have created and modified. For more information, use this page in the MacroView Help Center or contact MacroView support using these details.